So we were talking about nursing.
Mm-hmm.
And I was curious what it felt like to be the first employee to be recognized by the hospital that you work for, right? Real nurses, real people, is that the name of the article?
Yes, it's some kind of a project by the public relations department people, and I suppose it would have felt more honored if it hadn't come about 2 years after they started to be real doctors, real people.
Okay.
So the nurses are like, either they're running out of doctors or somebody said, you know. But nurses are used to that. We're always like a little bit down the food chain.
Well, I was almost going to say the redheaded stepchildren, and I thought better of that. I was quite intrigued when you first contacted me, because I don't know if you remember our conversation at all.
Oh,
that
I do.
We shared by email. But this lady contacted me and said that she was a singer and she wanted to be interviewed, and I asked her if she sang any original material, and she said, well, maybe a little bit, but I'm still worth interviewing. And that stuck with me. You're a tenacious person, aren't you?
That would be the kind way of putting it, yes.
Okay. Yeah.
I'm all for kindness.
Yeah, no. Does that confidence run through everything that you do? You seem...
For better or for worse, I think it does. And I think it's partially one's nature. I don't think you can manufacture that if you don't have it. I think it's partially a gift from your family. You know, I grew up in a wonderful family that there were never limits. You know, if you can believe it, if you can dream it, you can do it. You know, whatever it is, if you want to learn how to ice skate, or you want to play the piano, or you want to get straight A's, or you want to whatever. And we were all very encouraged to pursue our dreams, just to do it with great excellence. Failing was not looked upon really nicely, but, you know, whatever it is that you want to do it. Put all your energy into it.
Except for failing.
And
yes.
I have a feeling that if we had failed with great flair, that somehow that would have been okay. Flunking one course would have been bad.
Sure.
But if you managed to flunk every single one of them, then that would have been looked at somewhat differently. But I never had the nerve to check that out.
So maybe that plays into what I was going to talk to you about next, which is you're a cabaret singer, you're a nurse, you've been a game show contestant, you auditioned for the Durham Bulls to sing the national anthem, you're a blogger of sorts. I mean, you just seem to have stuff going on all over the place.
Yeah, I don't like sitting still very much.
No?
No.
Yeah, that's excellent though.
Well, I'm blessed with a lot of energy and a lot of good health, which many people are not, as I'm forced to deal with every day at work. And I try and take advantage of it.
Right. Okay. Excellent. I used the word tenacious for you. You said that was being kind. Now,
I've heard bullheaded, I've heard stubborn.
Okay, she said them, not me, all right? Along that line, if somebody interviewed you, let's say, and they asked you to describe yourself in one word, do you know what that word would be?
Persistent?
I like that. Persistent. Very good. Persistent.
Yeah, I think if there's something that I decide that I want to do, I'm very tenacious about trying to make it happen.
I have discovered this on my own. Yes, you are very convincing in your. You must have been on a debating team at one point in time.
The secret is out.
Yes.
My children have heard that a lot. Don't argue with the debater.
Yeah. Well, I was very intrigued and very impressed with your confidence in yourself and your surety that, you know, you were somebody who needed to be talked to.
I think that while not denigrating anybody who is talented and driven enough to write their own music and perform it, which is a set of skills that I simply do not have. I think that without interpreters to pay some attention to that music, all of the songwriters out there would be a lot less, they would have a lot less exposure. You know, it's sort of a symbiotic relationship.
Yes.
You know, you give me a great song and I will sell it any which way I can for you.
You're right. If there were not some voices, there are some songwriters who would have never been heard. So I understand what you're saying, and that's a good point. And I take that point well, even though I started to kind of bump up against you there at first, didn't I?
Well, I understand wanting to showcase people who are working hard like that, and that next to that kind of talent and you know, a certain amount of output, that somebody who just sings might not seem at the outset as worthy of investing of your time and promotional efforts and things like that. But I think that singers, especially people who do cabaret, this is our bread and butter in life. As Glenn has often said to me, if you want to get up and sing The Man That Got Away just like Judy Garland, there's no point. People can go out and they can get Judy Garland's recording and they don't need you.
Yeah.
But if you want to sing The Man Who Got Away like Ellen Ciompi and sell it like Ellen Ciompi and make them forget about Judy Garland, then you have a right to sing that song. And this is how we approach a lot of our rehearsals together and everything, is how do you make it personal? How do you make it not sound like Judy Garland? And
this is why I'm glad you're here. See, you're educating me. And while we're talking about that right there, it made me think about a question that hadn't occurred to me till now. Is there anybody out there right now, or relatively contemporary style, contemporary time period, writing cabaret music? Is it still?
There's a lot of music being written that cabaret singers sing. I'm not sure that it is that there's a composing style that is cabaret.
So it's not being written with that.
I don't think
in mind necessarily.
For instance, I have a program coming up in February, and it's called The Songs of Fashion. And in compiling the song list, I pulled from classic Broadway, so there's a Rodgers and Hammerstein song. I pulled from the composers of what we call the Great American Songbook. So there's some by Cole Porter, there's Irving Berlin. There's a song by a semi-contemporary group called the Four Bitchin' Babes that's written by Christine Lavin.
I love it. Yes.
I'm doing a Lady Gaga song.
No, you are not. Really? A Lady Gaga song?
Yes, it's called Fashion.
Does she know that?
I
think we should let her know that.
If you know how to call her, let me know.
Oh, I'm sure she's just waiting for my call.
So, and the point is that you can draw from various genres and styles and take these things and make them your own. Obviously, I'm not doing a Lady Gaga song with a 17-piece rhythm backup and lots of special effects and dancers.
Right.
And I performed actually on my CD, I recorded Poker Face.
Oh, fantastic.
And I had many people come to me and say, I didn't know those were the words. That's the first time I've ever understood the words to that song. So obviously, like Glenn and I are going at it from a completely different way.
That's very cool.
Yeah. It's, again, taking it and making it your own.
Yes.
I don't look like her, I can't dance like her, I don't have the backup, I don't have the resources, but I can still take her song and introduce it to a different audience.
Make it yours.
And they forget about Lady Gaga for that 3 minutes. So that's cool.
That's awesome. And I'm so glad you've been here with me today. But we're not done.
Okay.
One last thing. Do you have a bucket list?
Semi. I would love to go to Russia.
Really? That's at the top of your list?
I would like to travel, and I would love to go to Russia. I read a book at a very impressionable age. It was Nicholas and Alexandra, biography of the last Tsar and the Tsarina. And it got me started on Russian history, and I'm a voracious reader of Russian history. And I would love to go and see all the things that I've been reading about for all these years.
Would you sing cabaret in Russia?
Hey, if they want to listen, I'll sing. I have no shame.
That would be so cool. Well, if that ever happens, I hope you'll let me know so we can talk more.
Okay.
And maybe it'll happen soon. No. I mean, you can just tell us all about it. Don't speak much. I barely speak English. Thank you very much for being here. It's been a lot of fun talking to you, and it's been very educational.
Thank you for giving in to this stubborn woman and let me come here.
What choice did I have? Goodbye, everybody. We'll be back.
Bye-bye.